Tom woke up before sunrise, the way he always did. The small apartment was quiet except for the soft hum of the old fridge. He sat on the edge of the bed for a moment, rubbing his tired eyes, then stood up and walked toward the kitchen. Another long day was waiting, and he had learned not to waste time thinking about how hard it might be. In the next room, his young son slept peacefully, wrapped in a thin blanket. Tom paused at the doorway and watched him for a few seconds. That quiet moment gave him strength every morning. Being a single father was not something he planned, but it was the role life gave him, and he accepted it fully. Tom made a simple breakfast, packed a small lunch, and left a note on the table reminding his son to finish homework after school. He moved carefully, trying not to make noise. Before leaving, he checked his phone. There were a few work messages, nothing urgent. He slipped the phone into his pocket and stepped outside. The city was already awake. Cars moved fast, people rushed past, and everyone looked like they had somewhere important to be. Tom blended in easily. He did not stand out. His clothes were clean but old, his shoes worn from years of use. He did not mind. Comfort mattered more than looks. Today, Tom had one small task to complete. He needed to visit the bank. Not for a loan, not for attention, and not for help. He simply wanted to check his balance. He could do it online, but he preferred seeing things clearly in person. It helped him stay grounded. The bank building stood tall and shiny, with glass doors that reflected the busy street. Tom took a deep breath and walked inside. The air felt cool, and the floor shined under bright lights. A few people sat waiting, scrolling on their phones or whispering quietly. Tom stood in line, holding his wallet in both hands. He looked around but did not stare. Years of working alone had taught him to stay focused and patient. While waiting, his mind drifted back to earlier days when life felt heavier. There was a time when Tom barely slept. He worked late nights, learned new skills from free videos, and failed more times than he could count. He never talked about it. No one saw the silent effort, the missed meals, or the fear of not being enough for his child. He did not chase praise. He chased stability. The line moved forward. Tom stepped closer to the counter. At the same time, a woman walked in through the main door. Her presence changed the room. People noticed her immediately. Her name was Anna. She was known in business circles, though most people in the bank only recognized confidence when they saw it. She wore elegant clothes, walked with certainty, and carried herself like someone who was used to being listened to. She was successful, wealthy, and very aware of it. Anna joined a different line, checking messages on her phone. She barely noticed the people around her. To her, the bank was just another stop in a busy day. Tom reached the counter first. The teller smiled politely and asked how she could help. Tom leaned slightly forward and spoke in a calm voice. "I just want to see my balance." It was a simple request. The teller nodded and asked for his card. Tom handed it over without hesitation. He did not feel nervous. He had nothing to hide. Anna glanced over by chance. Her eyes landed on Tom for a second longer than needed. She noticed his plain clothes and tired face. A small laugh escaped her lips, quiet but clear. To her, it seemed almost funny that someone like him was standing there with such seriousness. Tom heard it. He chose not to react. Life had taught him that reactions often wasted energy. He kept his eyes on the counter, his posture steady. The teller typed on her computer, waiting for the system to load. The room felt normal, calm, and routine. No one expected anything unusual. While waiting, Tom's thoughts returned to his son. He remembered the promise he made to himself years ago, that no matter how hard things became, his child would never feel unsafe. That promise guided every decision he made. Anna continued to wait in her line, still amused. In her mind, wealth had a look, a sound, and a presence. Tom did not match that picture. She assumed she already understood his story. The teller's screen finally loaded. Her fingers froze for a second. She leaned closer, thinking there must be a mistake. She refreshed the page once, then again. Her expression slowly changed from neutral to surprised. Tom noticed the pause. He lifted his eyes slightly, curious but calm. He trusted his numbers. He trusted the work behind them. The teller cleared her throat, adjusting her posture. She looked at Tom with a different expression now, one filled with caution and respect. She turned the screen slightly, making sure she was seeing everything clearly. Anna sensed something was different. She stopped smiling and looked toward the counter again. The laughter that came so easily before did not return. Tom waited patiently, hands resting on the counter. He did not smile. He did not feel proud. To him, the balance was not a trophy. It was proof that his sacrifices meant something. The teller took a breath, preparing to speak. The air in the bank felt heavier than before, as if everyone sensed a moment was forming, even if they did not know why. And in that quiet space, before a single word was said, assumptions began to crack. The teller looked at the screen again to be sure. Her eyes moved slowly across the numbers. She felt her heart beat faster, not from fear, but from surprise. This was not the kind of balance she expected to see linked to the quiet man standing in front of her. Tom noticed her hesitation. He stayed calm, his face relaxed. He had learned long ago that patience was a skill, not a weakness. He waited without asking questions. Anna leaned forward slightly from her place in line. Her curiosity had replaced her earlier amusement. She could tell something unusual was happening. The teller's body language had changed, and the room felt different now. The teller cleared her throat and spoke carefully. She asked Tom to confirm his identity again. Tom nodded and handed over another card. His movements were slow and respectful. He had nothing to prove. As the teller checked the details, Anna watched closely. She had spent years reading people in meeting rooms and business halls. She believed she could always tell who mattered and who did not. Yet the man at the counter did not fit any pattern she knew. Tom's mind drifted back while he waited. He remembered the year everything changed. His child was still very young then. Life had forced him to grow up faster than he wanted. There were nights when fear kept him awake, nights when he questioned his choices. Still, he never stopped moving forward. He had started small, working from home, learning quietly, failing silently. He avoided noise and attention. He built his work step by step, always thinking long-term. He did not tell friends or neighbors. He did not celebrate wins. He saved, reinvested, and focused on consistency. The teller finished checking the details. She took a breath and turned the screen slightly toward Tom, keeping her voice low and professional. She confirmed the balance. Tom nodded once. That was all he needed. He did not ask for a printed statement. He did not react. To him, the number was familiar. It represented years of discipline, not luck. Anna could not look away. She had seen many numbers in her life, but this one caught her attention because of who it belonged to. Her confidence wavered. The story she created in her mind when she laughed no longer made sense. The teller asked Tom if he needed help with anything else. Her tone was respectful now, almost careful. Tom shook his head gently. "No," he said. "That is all." As Tom stepped slightly back from the counter, Anna found herself speaking without planning to. She asked him a simple question, her voice calm but curious. "How long have you been with this bank?" Tom turned toward her. He did not seem annoyed or proud. He answered honestly, saying he had been a customer for many years. He did not add details. Anna nodded slowly. Her mind was working fast. She had built her success by taking risks, making bold moves, and being seen. Tom's success, whatever its size, seemed built in silence. That difference unsettled her. The line behind Anna grew longer, but she did not care. For the first time that day, she was not thinking about her schedule. She was thinking about her judgment. Tom moved aside, preparing to leave. As he walked toward the exit, Anna watched his posture. There was no arrogance, No need for attention. He walked like a man who knew where he was going, even if no one noticed. The bank doors opened, letting in a rush of street noise. Tom paused for a moment near the entrance. He checked his phone and saw a message from his son's school. A small smile touched his face. That message mattered more to him than any number on a screen. Anna remained inside, standing still. She felt something unfamiliar, a quiet discomfort. She had laughed without knowing. She had assumed without understanding. The teller returned to her work, but she glanced once more toward the door where Tom had just left. She wondered how many stories passed through the bank every day, unseen and misunderstood. Outside, Tom stepped into the sunlight. The city felt the same as before. Cars moved, people rushed, and life continued. Nothing around him had changed, yet something inside the bank had shifted. Anna finally moved forward to the counter. When the teller greeted her, Anna responded politely, but her thoughts were elsewhere. As she handled her own business, her mind replayed the moment she laughed. She realized something important. Wealth did not always announce itself. Strength did not always demand attention. Some people carried their victories quietly, protecting them like something precious. When Anna finished and turned to leave, she looked toward the glass doors again. Tom was already gone, blending into the crowd. She felt a strange sense of regret, not because of money, but because of the person she almost failed to see. That day did not end with applause or confrontation. It ended with reflection. And for Anna, that reflection would follow her far longer than she expected. Tom walked down the street with steady steps. The bank was already behind him, but the moment stayed in his mind only briefly. He did not replay it again and again. He had trained himself to move forward, not backward. His focus returned to the real center of his life, his son. He stopped at a small shop near the bus stop and bought a simple snack. While waiting for the bus, he checked his phone again. A message from his son said school was fine and homework was done. Tom felt calm. That was enough to make his day better. As the bus arrived, Tom took a seat near the window. He watched the city pass by. Tall buildings, small homes, busy streets, and quiet corners all mixed together. He had lived in this city for years, watching it change while he stayed mostly invisible. His mind returned to the past, not with pain, but with clarity. There was a time when he felt completely alone. After his partner left, life felt heavy. He had a child to raise and bills to pay. Many nights he sat at a small desk after his son slept, learning new skills on an old laptop. The screen often froze. The internet was slow. Still, he kept going. He learned to manage money carefully. Every choice mattered. He avoided risky decisions. He avoided showing off. While others talked about success, he worked quietly. He made mistakes, corrected them, and moved on. Slowly, his work began to grow. Back at the bank, Anna sat in her car but did not start the engine. Her hands rested on the steering wheel. She stared straight ahead, thinking. The bank visit should have been simple, yet it stayed with her. She remembered the laugh that escaped her mouth. It was not loud, but it was careless. She felt uncomfortable now. Not because Tom had more money than she expected, but because she had reduced a person to an image in her mind. Anna had built her life differently. She grew up believing that confidence must be shown. She spoke loudly in meetings, dressed sharply, and made sure people noticed her presence. That strategy had worked. It brought her deals, recognition, and wealth. But something about Tom's quiet strength challenged her belief. He did not need approval. He did not seek attention. He did not explain himself. Anna started the car and drove toward her office. The traffic felt slower than usual. At a red light, she watched people crossing the street. She wondered how many stories she had ignored just by looking too quickly. Tom reached his apartment building and climbed the stairs. He unlocked the door and stepped inside. The space was small but clean. His son's shoes rested near the door. A school bag lay on the couch. Tom put his things down and went to the kitchen. He prepared a simple meal, moving with routine ease. Cooking was one of the small skills he had learned after becoming a single parent. It was not fancy, but it was warm and filling. When his son returned home, he smiled and ran toward Tom. They talked about school, friends, and plans for the weekend. Tom listened carefully. He asked questions. He laughed softly. In that room, wealth had nothing to do with numbers. Later that evening, after his son went to bed, Tom sat at his desk again. He opened his laptop and reviewed his work. He checked reports, reviewed plans, and noted areas that needed improvement. He treated success the same way he treated struggle, with calm focus. Across the city, Anna sat alone in her office. The building was quiet now. Most employees had gone home. She looked at charts and emails but could not focus. Her thoughts kept returning to the man at the bank. She asked herself why the moment bothered her so much. She had met many people. She had judged many situations quickly. That had helped her move fast in business. Yet this time felt different. Anna realized she had laughed not because of humor, but because of comfort. She had felt safe assuming she understood the situation. When that assumption broke, it shook her confidence. She leaned back in her chair and closed her eyes. She thought about her early career, when she struggled and wished people would take her seriously. She remembered the frustration of being judged too quickly. The memory made her feel uneasy. She had become the person she once resented. The next morning, Tom followed his usual routine. Wake up early, prepare breakfast, help his son get ready, and start the day. The bank visit did not change his path. It was just another stop in a long journey. Anna woke up feeling restless. She dressed carefully but without her usual confidence. On the drive to work, she passed the same bank. She slowed down for a moment, then continued. Throughout the day, Anna noticed changes in herself. She listened more in meetings. She observed people more closely. She asked questions instead of assuming answers. It felt uncomfortable, but also honest. Tom spent his day working from home. He took short breaks to stretch and drink water. He kept his schedule balanced. He believed burnout was a quiet danger, one he had learned to avoid. As evening came, both of them sat in different places, thinking about different things. Yet the same lesson hovered between their lives. For Tom, the lesson was one he already knew. Quiet effort builds strong foundations. For Anna, the lesson was new. Real value often hides behind simple appearances. The moment at the bank did not connect them again. There was no dramatic meeting or conversation. Instead, it created a shift inside each of them. And sometimes, the most powerful changes happen without noise, without witnesses, and without anyone realizing they are happening at all. A few days passed after the moment at the bank, but its effect did not fade. For Tom, life moved in its usual rhythm. For Anna, something inside her had shifted, and she could not ignore it. Tom woke up early as always. He helped his son prepare for school, tying his shoes and fixing his collar. They shared a simple breakfast and talked about small things. Tom listened more than he spoke. He believed that listening helped him understand the world better. After his son left, Tom sat at his desk and opened his laptop. His work required focus, patience, and planning. He reviewed projects carefully, checking details twice. His success came from steady effort, not fast moves. He remembered the years when nothing seemed to work. Back then, fear often visited him at night. He worried about rent, food, and the future. Instead of giving up, he learned to control fear by turning it into action. Each small step mattered. Across the city, Anna walked into her office building with a different mindset. She greeted people by name, something she rarely did before. She noticed their expressions and moods. It felt strange, like learning a new habit. In her morning meeting, Anna listened instead of leading right away. She allowed others to speak first. She noticed ideas she might have ignored before. The room felt different, calmer, more balanced. Later that day, Anna sat alone in her office and thought about her past. She remembered how hard she had worked to be taken seriously. She remembered being overlooked and judged. Those memories made her pause. She realized she had built walls around herself, believing confidence meant distance. But those walls also blocked understanding. Tom took a short break from work and cleaned the apartment. He believed a clean space helped a clear mind. While folding clothes, he thought about the bank moment again, not with pride, but with reflection. He understood why Anna laughed. He had seen it before. People often judged by surface details. He did not feel anger. He felt acceptance. Everyone carried blind spots, including himself. That afternoon, Tom received a message from a local school group asking if he could speak about remote work skills. He considered it carefully. He did not like attention, but he believed sharing knowledge could help others. He replied with a simple yes. Anna spent her afternoon reviewing a proposal from a small startup. In the past, she might have dismissed it quickly. This time, she read every line. She focused on effort and vision instead of appearance. She noticed something surprising. The proposal reminded her of herself in earlier years. That realization made her smile quietly. As the workday ended, Anna did not rush out. She stayed back, thinking. She understood now that growth was not only about gaining more, but about seeing better. Tom picked up his son from school. They walked home together, talking about plans for the weekend. His son asked simple questions about work and life. Tom answered honestly but gently. At home, Tom cooked dinner while his son did homework at the table. The room felt warm and safe. Tom valued these moments deeply. They reminded him why he worked so hard. That evening, Anna attended a small dinner with business partners. She spoke less than usual and observed more. She noticed how often people interrupted each other. She chose to wait, and when she spoke, her words felt more meaningful. Someone at the table mentioned a man at a bank who turned out to be very successful. The story sounded familiar. Anna stayed quiet, listening. She felt no need to explain or correct anyone. Later that night, Anna stood by her window, looking at the city lights. She thought about how one brief moment could change perspective. She did not know Tom's full story, but she respected it. Tom sat at his desk again after his son slept. He prepared notes for the school talk. He kept them simple and honest. He planned to talk about patience, learning, and balance. He believed success was not about showing what you had, but about protecting what mattered. That belief guided him every day. The next morning, Tom stood in front of a small group at the school. He spoke calmly, sharing his journey without numbers or pride. He talked about effort, mistakes, and staying consistent. The audience listened closely. Some nodded. Some took notes. Tom felt satisfied, not because of praise, but because he had helped someone understand a new path. Anna spent her morning mentoring a junior employee. She listened to concerns and offered guidance without judgment. She felt a sense of fulfillment she had not felt in a long time. As the day went on, both Tom and Anna continued their separate lives. They did not meet again. They did not speak. Yet the lesson they shared grew quietly. Tom continued building his life with care and humility. Anna continued rebuilding her perspective with awareness and respect. Neither of them sought attention for their change. It happened naturally, shaped by reflection and choice. And in the quiet flow of everyday life, both learned that true growth often begins with a moment that forces a person to look inward and truly see. The week moved forward like any other, but both Tom and Anna were not the same as before. The city stayed busy, the streets stayed loud, and people still rushed from one place to another. Yet inside two different lives, something quiet had changed. Tom kept his routine steady. He woke early, made breakfast, helped his son get ready, then sat at his desk to work. He did not chase new attention. He chased calm progress. His life was not perfect, but it was stable, and stability was what he wanted most. One afternoon, Tom's son came home holding a paper from school. It was an invitation for a parent event. The school planned a small community day, where families could meet local workers and learn about different careers. Tom read it carefully. His son looked up with hopeful eyes and asked if Tom could come. Tom smiled and said yes. He did not promise big things. He only promised to show up. On the day of the event, Tom wore simple clothes as always. He held his son's hand while walking into the school hall. Tables were set up with posters and small displays. People talked in groups, some confident, some shy. Tom's son ran toward a table with colorful books. Tom followed slowly, watching him with quiet pride. He noticed other parents. Some looked relaxed, some looked tired. Tom understood both. Across the hall, a guest speaker had arrived. It was Anna. She had agreed to attend because the school partnered with a business group. She usually avoided events like this, but she wanted to do things differently now. She arrived wearing professional clothes, but her expression was softer than before. She greeted the teachers politely and walked to her table. When Anna looked around the hall, she saw many faces. Then she saw Tom. For a second, her body froze. Her mind returned to the bank, the laugh, the screen, and the quiet man who said nothing. She felt a strong wave of embarrassment, but she did not turn away. Tom saw her too. His face stayed calm. He recognized her immediately, but he showed no anger. He simply nodded once, polite and neutral. Anna took a slow breath and walked toward him. She did not rush. She did not want to look confident for the sake of it. She wanted to be honest. When she reached Tom, she spoke quietly so others would not hear. "I have been thinking about that day," she said. "I was wrong. I judged you. I am sorry." Tom looked at her for a moment. His eyes were steady, not cold, not warm, just clear. He understood her apology was not easy for her. He respected that. "It is fine," Tom said. "People do that sometimes." Anna's face showed relief, but also something else, respect mixed with curiosity. "I want to understand," she said. "Not your money. Your mindset. How do you stay so calm?" Tom did not answer quickly. He looked across the hall at his son, who was laughing with another child. Then Tom spoke. "When someone has to be both mother and father, calm becomes a choice," he said. "If he loses control, the child feels unsafe." Anna listened carefully. Those words hit her harder than any business lesson. She had always believed power came from control in meetings and negotiations. Tom showed her another kind of control, the kind that protects a home. Their conversation was interrupted by Tom's son, who ran up to them with a bright smile. "Dad, who is she?" he asked. Tom introduced Anna simply. He did not call her rich or famous. He just said she worked in business and was visiting the school. Anna bent slightly and greeted the boy politely. She noticed his clean uniform, his simple shoes, and his bright eyes. She saw a child who felt safe. That safety did not come from luxury. It came from a father who stayed strong without showing off. Later, the school asked Tom to speak again, because his earlier talk had impressed the teachers. Tom hesitated, but his son looked at him with excitement, so Tom agreed. Tom stood in front of parents and students and spoke in basic, clear words. He spoke about learning skills, staying consistent, and building a life step by step. He did not mention numbers. He did not mention success stories. He spoke about responsibility and patience. People listened closely. Some parents looked emotional, not because of drama, but because they understood the struggle. Anna stood at the side and listened. She had attended many conferences with famous speakers, but this simple talk felt more powerful. Tom did not sell a dream. He shared a process. After the event, parents thanked Tom. Some asked questions. Tom answered with kindness. He offered simple advice, like taking small steps, avoiding rush decisions, and staying focused. Anna waited until the crowd thinned, then walked to Tom again. "That was real," she said. You did not try to impress anyone. Tom gave a small nod. Impressing people does not feed a child, he said. Anna smiled softly. This time, it was not a laugh of judgment. It was a smile of understanding. Before leaving, Anna offered Tom something unexpected. She said she had a small program where she supported local parents learning new work skills. She asked if Tom would help design it, not as a face, but as a guide. Tom was surprised. He did not like attention, but he liked impact. He thought about the parents he saw today, the tired faces, and the quiet hope. He agreed, but with one condition. No big spotlight, Tom said. Keep it simple. Focus on real help. Anna nodded. Simple is fine, she said. I think I needed to learn that. In the weeks that followed, the program started quietly. Tom helped plan practical lessons. Anna used her connections to find resources. They worked with respect and clear purpose. They did not become best friends overnight. They became partners in something meaningful. Tom's son saw his father helping others and felt proud. Anna saw people improving their lives and felt fulfilled. For the first time in years, her work felt personal, not just profitable. One evening, Tom sat with his son and ate dinner. The child talked about school and friends, then asked why Tom helped other parents. Tom answered simply, "Because someone helped me once, even if they did not know it," he said. In another part of the city, Anna stood by her window again, looking at the lights. This time, her thoughts were calm. She understood the lesson clearly now. A person's value is not always visible at first glance. Real strength can look ordinary. Real success can be quiet. And sometimes, one screen in a bank is not the biggest shock. The biggest shock is realizing how wrong a person can be when they judge too fast. And that is how a simple request to see a balance turned into a new path for two lives, built not on pride, but on respect, humility, and real change.